last episode, we talked about Multiverse of Madness and who the Illuminati is.
Yep.
So if you don't know who the Illuminati is, we're going to talk a little bit about that today. So go ahead and watch our last episode so you kind of know what we're talking about.
Yeah, we don't want you guys to be left in the dark.
So when the second trailer came out, there were a lot of things in there that I was like, what is that?
Oh, there was a ton of stuff.
There was a lot of stuff.
So much going on.
The one thing that caught my eye was, I think it was like halfway through the trailer, you see this glowing person.
Yes.
Flying around.
Kind of orangey.
Yeah, yellowy, orangey, white. Kind of look like fire. There have been a lot of people I've seen that are trying to figure out who this is. There have been a lot of interesting theories.
Yes. And you know what? Even with the theories that people have mentioned, they still haven't said who I think it is. Yeah,
I have 3 theories that I've seen, but one of them seems more likely than the others.
Okay.
The first one I've seen is that it's the superior Iron Man.
I've seen
Mainly,
that one.
there's a picture that somebody took. I think it's in 4K or something. It's super clear, and you can really see what they look like. And you can see the little headband thing. It looks like an Iron Man suit, but his mask, it kind of comes around. There's a little headband thing with a little gem-looking thing there.
Yep. Almost looks like he's got the Mind Stone.
Yes.
In his forehead.
Does. So there's that, and also because of the Ultron bots you see in the trailer. I'm still not sure if they're Ultron bots or if they're suits people are wearing.
I think they're bots, and I think part of the reason why people think that this is the superior Iron Man is because in the comics and even in like the Avengers Assemble animated series that was on Disney XD, which if you haven't seen it, go watch it. It's fantastic.
It's really good.
Is in those series, Tony Stark actually built Ultron like as a security AI / bot for I want to say it was either the Raft or the Triskelion. I can't remember exactly which one.
I think it depends on what you watch and what you read, because
True.
I've seen both.
True. And so I think that's where a lot of people are getting the idea that this is the superior Iron Man from, is because of that, because of the Ultron bots, which I'm still kind of trying to figure out the whole Ultron bot thing and where they're going to go with that. So, but again, rumors and theories are kind of one of those things that you really don't know where they're going to go until they get there. So superior Iron Man's one possibility.
Yeah, that's one of them. The second one that I saw, in my opinion, this is the least likely. Some people think that it is a Captain Marvel variant, but it's actually Maria Rambeau, who, if you haven't seen Captain Marvel, you should probably watch it. Maria Rambeau was Carol Danvers, who is Captain Marvel, her best friend. So some people think that in one timeline she ended up becoming Captain Marvel, and that's who that is.
I could see that. I agree with you though. I think she's probably the least likely possibility as far as who this is going to be. Now, the one that I saw flying around a ton when it first came out, and the one that I actually, to me, was the most excited about, especially after I kind of read up on the Illuminati some. I personally thought and kind of hoped and still kind of hope that it actually turns out to be a variant of the Human Torch, Johnny Storm.
That could be.
I think that would be a great way for them to kind of bring, especially if you haven't, like we said before, if you haven't watched our last episode on the Illuminati, you need to go back and watch that, because that would be a great way for them to even kind of tie in the whole Reed Richards Illuminati connection.
Even if Reed Richards isn't there, if you have somebody there to hint.
Yes, I think it would be great. So I think that's another possibility, but I do think, and I think you agree with me, there's still one possibility based on images that is the best possibility.
Now, based on some images I've seen and on really the superior Iron Man theory, and I don't know if I've told you this or not, or if you came up with it first, I'm not sure.
There's no telling.
I don't know anymore. We talk about this stuff way too much. If you look at the 4K picture I was talking about earlier, and you really look at the person's face, yes, it does look like the Superior Iron Man, but like the way the headpiece is, but it also looks a lot like Jonathan Majors, who is Kang, or He Who Remains.
Well, yes, and actually there is an 8K image floating around that if you take that 8K image and you put a picture of Jonathan Majors right next to it, which we may just have to pop up, like maybe right here.
Right here?
It looks almost identical to him, and I think he is probably, because of the multiverse stuff, probably the most likely candidate.
And I think not only is it Kang, or He Who Remains, whatever you want to call him, I think wherever he is from, I think he is the Superior Iron Man.
Well, now that's an interesting thought. I hadn't.
Because if you really look at the picture and you compare it next to the picture of one of the Superior Iron Man comic covers, the suit and the headpiece looks exactly the same. It just looks like Jonathan Majors is wearing it instead.
That would be kind of a cool twist.
That's what I think.
Huh.
And I don't know if it's just because I came up with that, but I think that might be the most likely of
combining the best of both worlds.
That is.
Yeah, that would be a pretty cool.
That would be interesting.
That would be interesting. Okay. So what else? What else do we want to hit on?
Along with the rumors I've seen of who this glowing person is, I've also seen a lot of rumors about who is going to be part of the Illuminati. Again, if you haven't watched our episode about the Illuminati, go ahead and go watch that, because we're going to talk a lot about what we already talked about, kind of-ish. The one theory I found that I really like the idea of is that one of the members is actually Captain Carter from What If. If you take, I think it's the newest poster for the movie, if you zoom, it's whichever one it is, it's the one where you have Strange in the middle and then all the broken glass around him. If you zoom in on the bottom right corner, you can actually see a broken version of her shield. It's really blurry, you gotta really zoom in, but it's there.
No, I haven't looked as close at some of the images as you have. That would be kind of a cool thing. It would be kind of a great way for them to tie in all the animated stuff they're doing on Disney Plus with the live action stuff, which would be a cool thing. Now, I wonder if they do that, if they'll bring Haley Atwell in to play Captain Carter.
I really hope so.
And I think that would be kind of a cool thing. So,
yes.
So who else do you think is a possibility?
Obviously, Superior Iron Man, I think.
In whatever variation.
Whatever variation he is. Just because he was there and because of the Ultron bots who took Strange up towards the chairs of who we think the Illuminati is. That's really all I have why I think he might be.
I still think it would be really cool. Like I said in the last episode, I think this would be a great way for them to bring some of these characters that they've hinted, or not even hinted at, but they've said are going to be in this new phase or the next two phases. I really think this would be a great place for Reed Richards to pop up, especially if the glowing figure isn't Kang, Superior Iron Man, whoever. If it actually does turn out to be Johnny Storm, I think Reed Richards would be a fantastic addition. I mean, he's one of the original members of the Illuminati. I think he would be amazing, especially since they are doing a Fantastic Four movie. I think this would be a great way to bring him in.
Yes. Now, this is way off topic, but I still think it would be hilarious if at some point in the next movies, when they're doing all this stuff about the multiverse, if you see Chris Evans walk out and everyone's like, it's Captain America, it's Captain America, but then he yells flame on and starts flying through the air.
I think that would be
if they don't do that, I would be kind of upset.
That would be amazing. What would be even better is have Chris Evans pop out as in the same shape pre-Captain America.
Yes.
Early Steve Rogers when he was the scrawny little dude, and have him say "flame on" and then fly off.
That would be so funny.
Really mix the two. Really have people thinking that would be hilarious.
Have people thinking they're bringing Captain America back, but it's not.
That would be hilarious. So, what else? Who else do we think this could possibly show up?
Like we talked about in the last episode, probably Black Bolt. I feel like they'll bring him in just because he was in, was it the Netflix series?
It was actually, it was originally going to be a series just on regular TV. And then I think it got bounced from regular TV. I'd have to go back and look it up. But I think it bounced from like NBC, or it would have been ABC because that's where Marvel, where Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. was at.
Yeah.
So, but I think they bounced it from there to Hulu only.
Oh. Yeah, I couldn't remember if it was Hulu or Netflix.
I may be wrong, but I think it was on Hulu, and I think it was only like 7 episodes.
I remembered hearing a lot about it, but then it just disappeared.
Yeah, well, I think that's one of the few missteps Marvel has made in the fact that nobody really knew who the Inhumans were. Mm-hmm. They kind of teased and hinted at it a little bit in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. They had like an entire season just about devoted to the idea of Terrigen Mist and all that stuff. But it really wasn't that well done, I didn't think. I think the Inhumans was one of those missteps along with the Eternals that just really wasn't up to par for Marvel, in my opinion. So I'm not so sure. I'm not 100% sure they'll bring Black Bolt in with this, and that's why, because it was so poorly received. But I may be wrong.
I think if it was just Marvel and Disney who had a say in this, I feel like it would be really good, just because it's Marvel. And really the only bad thing they've done so far is the Eternals. I'm sorry if you love the Eternals.
We will pray for you.
Yes. But it was a terrible movie.
I thought it was terrible. The only other character that I'm really not so sure, I'm just really not sure about this because of everything that's happened that was out of Marvel's control, is Black Panther. Mm-hmm. I mean, he was one of the originals.
Yes.
And now you end up in this scenario. And they don't really give you anything to go on in the trailer. When they show the second trailer, the only person you know for sure that's going to be there as part of the Illuminati is Charles Xavier.
Yes.
So, in even looking at Black Panther, I think they would have to really make it, they'd have to figure out some way to retcon all that like they do in the comics to make it Black Panther.
Yes. Now, 2 possibilities I did see. There was another picture that somebody took, really high quality of the trailer, and if you zoom in on one of the chairs, there's a person sitting there pretty much exactly the way that Black Panther always sat on the throne or whatever, and you can actually see the, like, tooth necklace, I guess you would call it.
Yeah.
If they do that, obviously it's not going to be Chadwick Boseman, but the other possibility is, in the comics, Shuri actually became Black Panther. And she was actually a really cool Black Panther from what I've seen. Mm-hmm. She had like all these powers. She could like bring back the past Black Panthers to help her for a certain period of time.
Okay.
But I can't remember if it was like them as humans or them as actual Black Panthers like they are in Black Panther. Like
when the actual Panthers themselves kind of show up.
Yes.
And then kind of morph into, like in their version of Black Panther heaven.
Yeah, that
would be cool.
The Lion King tree.
That would be cool. I know very, very little about Black Panther. I knew that at one point Shuri had taken up the mantle of Black Panther, but I had I didn't really know anything about her. So that's kind of a cool twist on a really cool character.
No, I would like them to do that, but I think what they've done with Shuri's character so far, I don't think her character would want to become Black Panther. I think she's fine with just staying in the caves,
right?
Doing all this stuff.
Yeah, just kind of doing her own thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now that we've gone completely off topic, Which of those do you think is the most likely to happen? Like,
Yes.
which?
Honestly, I think out of all of those, I think the most plausible, other than of course Patrick Stewart as Charles Xavier, is going to be Reed Richards.
Yes.
I think he's the most likely. I think with knowing that there is a Fantastic Four movie coming, I think he's the most logical, and I think he's the one that they'll lean into the most. The others, I think, are just way too.
They're way
up in
too
the air.
out there. Yeah.
Now, what about you? Who do you think absolutely 100% will not happen?
Probably Black Bolt.
Yeah.
Of all of them, I feel like he's the least likely. Him or the Superior Iron Man.
I am inclined to agree with you. I think there's a good possibility of Superior Iron Man just because of the costume that they're showing on the glowing flying character. Whether it turns out to be Kang as Superior Iron Man, or whether or not they're throwing people off the scent of which would be really, really cool if they're using that image to throw people off the trail of Downey Jr. showing back up specifically just for one movie.
That would be great.
As a Superior Iron Man. I don't know. I doubt seriously that will happen.
I feel like, and we're going to talk about this in another episode, specifically about the Superior Iron Man. I think a lot of people would be upset if he came back as a Superior Iron Man.
I would.
I think they would be happy because he's there, but very unhappy with the character itself.
Yeah, and I think we can explain that more.
Yeah, we'll explain it more
in that episode.
So you'll just have to come back and watch more.
Yes. But until you come back for that episode, what theories do you guys have?
If you have any we didn't talk about, you can go ahead and comment them, and maybe we can talk more about you guys' theories in another episode.
Yeah, I think that would be fun.
I think it would be fun.
I think it'd be really cool to pick apart different theories, including our own.
Yeah, yes.
So, but until then, hit the subscribe button, click that notification bell, and that way you'll always know when we're back.
Yes.
So, thank you guys. We'll see you next time.